Hey everyone, this week I'm running through what I think are my top 10 best images of 2023. So this is going to be my last video of the year, and Happy New Year for tomorrow. 2023 has been a bit of a mixed bag. I have got some decent shots throughout the year, particularly when we went to Germany over summer, but then during autumn we had those great autumn colours and fantastic foggy conditions, and I wasn't able to get out as much as I would like with my camera. But that's how it goes sometimes with photography. There's always more that you want to do. I would like to do more street photography videos. I think I only did one this year, and I'd also like to do more wildlife and birds. But that's all for next year now. And I think also last year I said I wanted to do some astrophotography, and I still haven't got around to doing that, so that's definitely a priority for next year. But like I said, what I want to do today is just run through what I think are my top 10 best images of the year. And they're in no particular order. I've not used any scientific method to choose these. They're just what I like, what personally I felt were my favourite images. So let's have a look at number one. Okay, so we'll kick off with this one. It's one of a few shots I got from that trip to Germany in summer. So it was obviously a fruitful trip and got plenty of good photos from there. This was one morning I woke up and we had amazing fog. So I had to go out into the woods. It was just right nearby to the campsite where we were staying. And it's not a particularly complex image. The composition is quite simple. You've just got that leading line up the centre with the trees on either side balancing it out a little bit. Going to that brighter spot in the distance, and that hopefully just pulls you into the image. It was captured at 66mm with the 24-200mm Z lens with my Z7. 2.5 seconds, f8, ISO 400. I think if I could improve this a little bit, it would just be to sharpen these leaves here on the tree on the right. There was a little bit of breeze, and with the 2.5 second shutter speed, they're a little bit blurred, but I'm not really too worried about that. It's quite a soft image overall anyway. And like I said, it's just a simple shot, but I do just like the overall atmosphere and tones of this image. This is a violet Tarraco captured at the Tropical Butterfly House near Sheffield. I made a video there, so if you want to go back and watch that one, I'll put a link up top. As well as butterflies, they also have a lot of exotic birds, and I really like this shot just because of the detail. You can get really up close to the birds. They're quite tame and used to people passing by. So I was using the 300mm f4 PF lens, but I was able to get within a couple of meters probably. And that was how I was able to get up close and capture all this detail in the feathers and the eye. And it's just fantastic colours, and you've got that really blurry background because you're so close with the 300mm lens at f5. That creates some really nice soft bokeh behind. Quite a fast shutter speed, probably didn't need it that high, but some of the birds were flying around, things like that, so I wanted my shutter speed to be high in case I needed to capture that movement. So I was at 1/1600th of a second at ISO 800, but it still came out great. There was some decent light in there, and there isn't too much noise in the image. So yeah, really just pleased with the quality of the final image, and also because it's quite an unusual bird. So here's another one from our trip to Germany in summer. I did make a video on this one. It's at the Rakotsbrücke on the border to Poland in the east of Germany, not too far from Dresden. And this is a medieval stone bridge. It's been preserved quite a lot. They've done a lot of work to it, so it doesn't necessarily look that old now because of all the extra cement and concrete they've put around it. But it is quite an old bridge, and it was designed specifically to look like a circle, a complete circle, when it has the reflection in the water there. And usually this is photographed from the opposite side, and I did get a shot from there, but I was there in the middle of the day, quite harsh light, and it wasn't the best angle or the best light to take it from the other side, so I came around this side, shot it from this direction, and I was really pleased with the shot actually. It came out much better than the other one. So this was captured with the 24-200mm lens. That's my go-to travel lens, f8, 150mm, ISO 400 at 1/200th of a second, and I just love the soft tones in this, and it's just such an interesting subject as well. So here's another one from the Tropical Butterfly House. This is obviously the butterfly section, and we've got these two zebra wing butterflies that were just perfectly placed on this flower, looking towards each other. I like the way the antennas cross like that. So this is using the Sigma 105mm macro lens, f5.6, ISO 400 at 1250th of a second. And again, I probably didn't need it that fast. I could have dropped my ISO a bit, used a slower shutter speed because they were sat still there, but you never know if they're just going to fly away. So you've got to be prepared for that and have the fast shutter speed just in case they do fly away. But yeah, I liked the symmetry of this image. I liked that it came out nice and sharp, lots of detail in there, and it's a good composition with them facing each other like that. Here's one from Padley Gorge. In previous years I've had loads and loads of images from Padley Gorge, I go there a lot. This year I only went once during autumn, and so I didn't get quite as many shots as I would normally. But here's one that I really did like. I like the depth of field in the image. I did stack this, so it was probably about 3 or 4 images. I've got the grass and leaves at the front there in focus, but also the rest of the image going back towards the trees in the distance. And I like the stream that slowly winds through the image, leading your eye from the front right to the back. And I didn't want too slow of a shutter speed for this, so I've just used 1.3 seconds, which is just enough to get some texture in the water, but without blurring it out too much. And I didn't even need an ND for that because it was under the canopy in the forest, and I was just using a polarizer which slows down the shutter speed a little bit as well. So again, using the 24 to 200mm lens, seems like my favourite lens, at 30mm this time, f7.1, ISO 400, and like I said, 1.3 seconds shutter speed. Fantastic colours at Padley Gorge. All those yellows and oranges, they just complement the blues of the water so well. Here's yet another one from Germany. This is at Rothenburg ob der Tauber, which is a fantastic little medieval town. And it's not often empty like this, and in fact it wasn't empty when I got this shot because I've removed some people from this. But I did wait quite a long time so that it would be as empty as possible. This is in the evening, just before the sun's starting to go down, so it's quite a soft light. And I think there was 1 or 2 people in this which I removed. But it's such a lovely little town, it's so scenic, and it doesn't really matter too much where you point your camera, you're always going to get a good image. But just some fantastic colours on the buildings, so much interest and detail. And this was, again, with the 24 to 200, 53mm, f7.1, 1/400th of a second, and ISO 800. Here's one from the Peak District. This is looking out over Lady Bower Reservoir from Bamford Edge, and it was a fantastic sunset that evening. Some amazing colours in the sky. I have changed the colours just slightly, but only to emphasise them, not really to change them too much. There were some really lovely purple tones coming through, which complemented those oranges really nicely. And this was with the 24 to 70mm f4 lens, 1/125th of a second shutter speed, f9, around about 35mm ISO 400. And it's such a lovely scene, you don't really have to work too hard to get a good composition up here. You've got the bridge in the background there, which is actually a viaduct, but when they flooded the little village in there, the water level came up to the top there and you just see it as a bridge now. You've got the rocks in the foreground, leading you in, down the hill with the trees, leading all the way up to the background there with the sun just going down behind the mountains in the background. So I was really pleased with that one. Some really great light, and it really brings that scene to life. So here's one that was in a video quite recently. I was editing portrait photography. I'll put a link up top to that one again. And I haven't done that much portraiture this year. It's something I did want to do a lot more of, and I have been practicing. We had a model in my local photography group who brought some props, and I was really pleased with this particular shot. The seriousness of the look, there's a lot of character in the face, I like the eye contact, and it really just brings you into the picture. I've tried to emphasise that by darkening the surrounding areas of the image, and that just really pulls you into those eyes. And yeah, there's just a lot of detail. Using the 50mm 1.8 Z lens, f5.6, ISO 100, 1/160th of a second. That was using flashes as well. So here's another macro shot captured with my go-to macro lens, the Sigma 105mm. I was really pleased with how in focus the subject is here. It can be quite difficult with macro to get everything in focus, and this has actually been stacked, so there's around about 50 to 60 shots here that have been blended together to get the whole thing in focus from front to back. And even with focus stacking, it's sometimes difficult to get all of the areas sharply in focus, but I think this is pretty much from the front of the fungus all the way to the back, pretty much all in focus. So I was really pleased with that, and it's a really nice subject because the purpley pink tones just really stand out against the greens. Got some nice bokeh in the background. There's a little bit at the bottom that's out of focus, but I think that just brings you into the image. You've got the plane of focus around about where the fungus is, and then you've got the background and that foreground area out of focus, so kind of works for me. And that was probably my best macro shot of this year, I think. And so finally we've got this shot, once again captured from our trip to Germany this summer. And this is from a town called Ramsau in Berchtesgaden in the south of Germany. And it's such a fantastically scenic place. You've got the river running down the side of the main road here with the church, just perfectly placed, with the mountains in the background there, and it just makes such a postcard perfect image. I would like to have come back to this in the morning or the evening at sunrise, sunset time, but we were moving around quite a lot and unfortunately we didn't have time to do that. Because it is harsh midday light, that meant I had to limit the amount of light coming into the camera. So using the 24 to 200mm Z lens, I've chosen an aperture of f11. That's given me a shutter speed of 1/60th of a second at ISO 64. Yeah, it's such an amazingly scenic place. I still really love this shot. So that's 2023 done, and here's looking forward to next year. I say this at the end of every video, but I really do mean it. Massive thank you for watching. If you've ever watched one of my videos or subscribed to my channel in 2023 or before that, a huge thank you to you. There's a lot of work that goes into YouTube and it takes up a lot of my time, but it would mean absolutely nothing if you weren't there at the end to watch it. So I really do appreciate it, thank you very much. And if you are new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed and you'd like to do so, you can click down there on the big red button. There's usually a video every Sunday morning at 10 AM UK time, but as you watch this, I'm in Germany on holiday and there won't be one next week. But I will catch up with you again on the 14th of January and we'll kickstart 2024. So thanks again and bye for now.